Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 30 of the Cooler Guild. I am Coop Cooper, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van Crisp.
Hello.
We are recording on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the Reign's matchup against defending NWSL Champions, the Orlando Pride, and going over some other WOSO happenings from the past week or so. But first, some housekeeping. We want to remind people that the Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder Heart Podcast Network. You can either listen to us on our public feed or, if you're a Sounder Heart subscriber, on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network. If you'd like to become a subscriber, just visit our page at sounderheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything we're doing. It's been a bit.
Yeah, we took a week off.
We had a week off because of the international break of games. Did you do anything fun in those 2-ish weeks?
I went camping.
Nice.
Yeah, went camping for 3 days with my friends. That was rad to just get out of the internet.
It was funny though because you told me you were going to unplug.
I did unplug, and then I realized that Phallon Tullis-Joyce was starting for the USWNT national team. So I used my phone as a hotspot and my friend's iPad, and I watched the USWNT national team game.
I was like, you didn't really unplug. I was funny because I was texting Alex, or I was just telling Alex, I was like, Van just texted me, even though she said she was going to have a no phone day. I was like, so much for that.
The PTJ news was too much for me. I had to.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about you?
I've just been enjoying the sun. That's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been outside as much as I can possibly be. I feel like I was busy doing something, and that's why I didn't catch the US game as much as I was hoping to catch it. I don't remember what I was doing though, because it was so long ago. And I feel like I've just been like sun happy.
Yeah.
I just like feel warm and I feel rejuvenated.
It's so a thing. Like when I wake up in the morning and, you know, I'm getting ready and I hop in my car to get to work, I'm just like, wow, this is going to be such a good day.
I know. My dog's been happy. I mean, one of my dogs like barking at the neighbor dog in the sun. That's like her favorite activity, just watching for the neighbor dog to get to the fence to bark at her. Or him. His name's Bonzo. Anyways, so I don't know. Nothing exciting. I've got, just a lot of soccer to talk about today with the rain.
Yeah, I had an exciting match day, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah. It was nice to watch the Reign play a team as good as Orlando, and they didn't suck ass.
Yep. Should we get into it?
Yeah, we should get into it.
All right. The Reign faced their toughest challenge yet when they took on the Orlando Pride Saturday evening at Midfield. Though the Reign started their youngest average lineup since June 2013, the first year the team played in the league, the team came out of the gate up for the challenge. After holding the Pride off for most of the first half, Barbara Banda converted a cross from Summer Yates in the 41st minute. The Reign defense would not fold again, but their inability to convert several chances on goal would ultimately seal their fate as a 1-0 loss at home.
It was we were so close to eking out a point. And like that goal was frustrating to give up. But I said in our last episode, my one, thing I wanted to see was to not get embarrassed. And I think we did that.
Yeah. I 100% think we did that. And so I got media credentials this season. So this was my first game I attended as a credentialed media person somehow. But so it was interesting. It's a totally different experience. You go through a different entrance. You're in a box with a bunch of media people. There's no cheering. There's definitely reactions, which thank God. But it was very interesting being on that kind of technical side of things where people are analyzing the game instead of like just emotionally reacting like it is when you're in the stands. And overall, like most of us felt, I can say at least me and the couple people that I talked to, that it was most disappointing because we could have won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was there for the taking, and had we had a healthy lineup, I think we probably would have won, and that would have been wild because this early on in the season, you get a win after, given what happened last season, you got a win against North Carolina, and if I would have had a healthy lineup and gotten a win against Orlando, that would have made this team, like anyone who had doubts about the rebuild of this team, they wouldn't have had to have any doubts.
Yeah, and I think too, one thing that I was thinking about was if I was somebody that was looking at this game and actually watched it, unlike a lot of the articles and podcasts that I've listened to about talking about how good Orlando is, this wouldn't for me drop the team in a power ranking.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what the other results were in the league, I think that like maybe, I don't know. I guess I would be wondering where we stood in the rankings that people had us at anyways, because I don't think we were very high for most people. So like, where would be the need to drop us against a 1-0 loss to like Orlando is pretty, like, I think most teams in this league would be happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you still want a point, obviously, but like, I mean, Orlando's capable of like just making you look fucking silly.
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse. I think Claudia Dickey had a good game. But again, she's doing all the things she needs to do.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just how interesting the lineup was, but they came out and they looked connected and put together. You know, unlike the Angel City game where I came on and I said it looked like they didn't prepare for this at all. You know, This was a completely different team.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And a different lineup. So
it had to be. They had a lot of people out for one reason or another.
Tons.
So yeah, so we had some general notes to go over before we kind of dive into our positives and negatives that we like to go over every game. We put down it was Ainsley McCammon's first NWSL start this season.
Also her
second
first
all-time
minutes all season.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How did you think she did?
Oh, we'll talk about it in the positives.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know if you had her listed there. And then before the match, they had celebrated Just Fishlock's 200th career game that she did. Was it the last match?
Yeah. No, it was the North Carolina match. Remember, she scored in her 200th game.
Oh, that's right. So that was nice to see. For somebody who couldn't play in the game, to see her recognized for stuff is nice.
Yeah, and Z was out there.
Mm-hmm. I wish she would have been able to be on the field for it, but coming back from her trip overseas with injuries and stuff, I guess the timing was about as good as it could be to recognize that.
And it sounds like her injury might be more long term than we think.
Yeah, that's kind of worrying. But I also don't want them to rush it, especially with someone that age. I think they know their body pretty well. That it is what it is. Don't want to see her. I know with the Euros on the rise too, I'm sure she's going to be trying to prioritize that. And that's kind of kind of not great as a Reign fan, specifically for club reasons. But I think after watching this game, I'm feeling maybe a little bit better than I used to about that. So I pulled this up. I had one notable stat I wanted to pull up just because I think it maybe can give us at least some hope for anyone who at least sometimes maybe buys into the XG stat. I know it's a little controversial sometimes, and I don't always buy into it, but I do think it's worth mentioning just because we put up some really good shots and it just didn't go our way. The XG for Reign after that match was 1.84, and then Orlando had 1.51. So in theory, we had better chances than they did. We just weren't able to convert any of them. And I think in large part of that is due to the goalkeeping of Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, we had 13 total shots, 5 shots on target. We beat them out in both those categories. We tied them for big chances created too. Yeah, I hate that it took this game for Anna Morehouse to remember she was a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And stand on her head.
As Laura Harvey said.
Mm-hmm. So going to the positives, yeah, like you said, we didn't get embarrassed.
Number one positive. If you could do that against the team that won the Shield and the championship last season in historic fashion.
And has Barbara Banda and Marta.
and Ellie Watt's been playing really well, and Angelina's been playing really well. And I will say, I think maybe we caught a little bit of a break. I know we lost, but we did catch a little bit of a break because a lot of their players, we maybe would have seen them playing more minutes if they wouldn't have just had some international games that they were featuring in. But, you know, you can only play what's in front of you. And we did do that, and we didn't get embarrassed. So I'm happy about that. And also given the fact that it was our youngest starting lineup in a long time, they kept up with Orlando. Like, they really did. Like, I think you texted me, like, are we like kind of like, are we doing good?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I think we are. Like, I didn't expect it at all. I saw the lineup and I was just like, fuck, like, I just don't want to get blown out. You know, that's all I wanted, to not get blown out. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, this, I think we can win this.
Yeah, I had a note in here when I wrote, I guess, at the 17th minute, first 17 minutes, the Reign are holding their own, feisty defending by the kids. And it really was. Players were really fighting to win the ball back when they lost it. They were double teaming really well. And it was like, oh, okay, we came to play. Got it. Yeah,
it was surprising, and yet at the same time maybe not. I don't know. Something about it to me wasn't like I never saw this coming, because I feel like we've kind of been feeling these good feelings about this team and kind of seeing their, like, I don't know what you want to call it, their tenacity, I guess. With these young players, they're not here to just play soccer. They're here because they want to win games, and it showed. It just didn't come to fruition, unfortunately. 6 players that started were in the starting 11 were 23 and under. That's crazy. And they did the thing. Like, you gave up 1 goal against Barbara Banda. They pretty much contained her. And I also think that goal that Barbara Banda scored, like, yeah, she's elusive in the box, and she kind of like found that space. It was bad marking. I think that it was like the defending 100% was the issue there, and I could have seen anybody else on like Orlando scoring that as well with the right positioning and movement. I mean, credit to Barbara Banda for that movement, but yeah, the defense is going to watch that back and be like, shit. Next positive, we got Lynn Biondolo. We got her. We got 45 minutes of Haidema, and then we subbed on for the last, second half. We got Lynn Biondolo. How did you feel about seeing her? Well, first I want to say I thought Jordan Haidema actually had a really good game. She did. I thought so too. I think that with the setup, it wasn't really the way that the team lined up and the shape that they were playing didn't really benefit her as a player. But I think defensively, she played really well. And I think that and according to the players in the post-game presser, she's a leader on the team. So it's good to have her out there, even though she's 23 years old. I was like, she's one of those 20 players 23 or younger. Like, to see that kind of like maturity and seeing her step up in that way for leadership is like really, really cool to see. I did think her link up play was looking really promising with Coco. Yeah, and I would be interested to see, like, when they do change the formation again, if her and Lynn get time together. Yeah, I think that would be hopefully the goal. Like, in theory, those are your 2 best forwards. So wouldn't you want to see them on the field at the same time? Yeah. But back to your point, seeing Lynn, I guess what we found out after the game is Haidema was also on a minutes restriction. So yeah, it was just a given that they were going to swap him at halftime, which praise be a Laura halftime sub. But hey, if you told her she can get 45 minutes from being Dolo, she's gonna do that. Yeah, for sure. How can you not? Yeah, I thought she played well, and it was difficult to kind of assess because they made other changes a little bit later in the game, so it wasn't really like the full squad. And Lynn, like, I was thinking to myself, it would have been really interesting to see her with the starting lineup and how that would affect the team. But I thought she played really well, and there was that one pass she made to Maddie Darlene. She wasn't really even looking, so there is some sort of chemistry there with them already. In knowing where your teammates are going to be, and playing the ball to these areas where they're expected to be, and they're there. Yeah, I think it's a good segue into our positive with Maddie Darlene. she reads the game so well, and she was in a different position for this match too.
Yeah.
Apparently she has history playing this position. She was kind of a left wing back role for this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she played left back. Laura was saying after the game, in college and in the youth national team system. So it was something that Laura knew she could do, but definitely like something different being asked of her.
I mean, I would rather see her higher up. Obviously, I think her attacking threat is just hard to beat, especially with her dribbling abilities and her ability to read the game.
But her defending was crucial in this game.
Yeah, the thing is that she might have like made a really good argument to not be so high up because, yeah, who was it? Theo Lloyd Hughes. You might recognize him from Bluesky. He also does a podcast, but he had pointed out that she had 9 tackles in that match, and that it sounds like that's the record for tackles in an NWSL game. I don't know if anyone saw that coming. First or rookie who's usually plays like a front role, like getting back and defending like that. Like, what the hell? That came out of nowhere.
At least for us.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen, I think everyone was expecting her first goal, not for her to just be balling out, defending the best team in the NWSL like the way she did.
She shut down Allie Watt.
Yeah.
She absolutely shut down Allie Watt.
She's got the speed to match.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun to watch. She also, she was very good defensively, but she also looked very good offensively. There's a really, really good chance, like last 2 minutes of the match. A good stop with the foot from Morehouse, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and wasn't able to tuck it away. But one of these days, she's going to get it. Yeah. And I think you were saying Haidema was talking her up afterwards and being like, it's going to come. Like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I wrote this quote down from her from the post-game presser. One of the reporters asked about, because after the game, you could tell that she was visibly upset.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's a competitor. That's going to happen. But she's asked about it, and she said, and they asked if, any other players, gave you advice or whatnot. And she said, Jordan and others came up to me and said that it's going to come and I just need to keep shooting. But obviously I want that chance back, but I'll take it to the next game and have it as a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, she seemed to be taking it pretty hard, which that's understandable. And I also think that's a good thing to see from somebody.
Yeah, it's the response that, to this missed opportunity that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see, I think I would be concerned if a player just brushed it off. So I like the awareness of how like big that moment could have been.
The passion.
Yeah. I mean, she pointed out like Barbara Bando's so good because she gets that one chance and tucks it away, and she wants to find a way to work that into her game as well.
You read my post-game presser notes that are in here?
I mean, I watched the presser. Anyways, next player to shout out for the positives.
Sam Meza. Her battery does not die. She was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Winning the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
Linking up the play. There was times in that Angel City game that it just looked like that midfield was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was really working through there. And whatever they did in that week and a half off, I'm not sure, but I think she maybe dusted off the cobwebs or something, because she was excellent.
She seems smart. I mean, she seems really smart. Like, I think she's one of those players that she can go watch film and she'll see exactly kind of what wrong, and then also can adjust to different opponents. Because we saw what didn't work against Angel City, and then you've got a completely different opponent in Orlando, and also a team that's extremely scary to play in some regard, but like also an exciting matchup, because it's one of those matches where like you kind of get to prove yourself as a player and that you're ready for this level. And I think maybe Sam Mays' like start into the NWSL didn't really kind of go maybe as I would think a lot of people in her position would hope for, but she's getting the start now, and she's keeping up with team with a team like Orlando. She had 11 recoveries, 96.2 passing accuracy, and then she also had that goal line save.
She saved her butts on that one.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to her. Incredible game.
I was just really impressed with her. And, from having somewhat of a disappointing match in the last game to, just improving on the next game so gigantically, I think that's incredible.
Yeah. Big fan.
So Ainsley McCammon started. She's 17 years old.
Hey, kid, you're going to go play Orlando Pride, the 2025 Orlando Pride.
And we haven't seen her since last season. And we only got to see bits and pieces, right? I thought she played really well. I was really impressed with her. I thought she played smart. I think obviously there's some growth to be had, but all in all, sometimes when you have young players on the field that aren't up for the moment, it feels like you're playing down a player. It never felt that way this game. And I think that she contributed and definitely was up for it. So hats off to her.
Whoa, so drama not spicy enough for you?
Not enough hotheads in this week's matchups?
Want to add a kick to your game, Damiel?
Spice up your life with Hacks and Ferments. Handcrafted in Georgetown and made with the best local ingredients from across the Pacific Northwest. Specializing in unique, small batch fermented hot sauces and vinegars. Hacks and Ferments brings bold flavors and natural fermentation together for something truly special.
Whether you're a heat seeker or you're just looking to elevate your cooking, you'll find something you love at hacksandferments.com. That's HAXANFERMENTS.com.
And right now, if you use code SOUNDERATHEART at checkout, you'll get a hot sauce completely free with your order. Again, go to hacksandferments.com, use code SOUNDERATHEART, all one word, at checkout for free hot sauce with your order.
Hacks and Ferments is a proud sponsor of the Sounder at Heart podcast network.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart podcast network, which now includes Nos Arietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, you gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit sounderatheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
I think we can wrap up the positives. We did lose, so I don't think we can keep listing off positives, even though I do think there are a lot. But I think we can wrap it up with just, I still think we are a good team, and I think we're a lot of fun to watch, which is not how I felt last year.
Same.
Yeah. Moving on to negatives.
We can't
not scoring.
Yeah, we can't score.
And I also I'll add to that it seems like there's a too little too late kind of pressure maybe to try to get like some really good opportunities in at the end. And I noticed that a lot last season, which isn't like necessarily a bad strategy to have. I don't, like you're playing a team like Orlando. You got to hang in there.
It's not necessarily strategy or something that you try to do. It's not like you're giving up the rest of the game. But at that point in the match, right, the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, the other team starts to sit further back. And legs are tired. You've brought some fresh legs on. And so things can get hectic. And Orlando wasn't trying to get another goal. They were taking the ball to the corner, which didn't work well for them because our defending is top notch. But it's a natural thing that happens in games. So I'm not too worried about it. What I will say is I guess I could have put this in the positives, but after we got scored on, we didn't give up a goal in the next 5 minutes. We didn't give up another goal at all. We held Orlando to 1.
Against this Orlando team, too.
Another negative I would say is just the defending on the goal in two different parts, right? Because first you have Madison Curry taking out Summer Yates. So I think
Yeah.
whether or not they would have converted that, it would have been a penalty.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And Summer Yates had to come off after that play.
Yeah, that was unfortunate to see.
Yeah, and the terrifying part is, who do they put in her place?
I was so mad at Angelina, right?
Angelina. I know. I was
And
like, oh
Angelina-
shoot, she's got to go.
yeah.
She's got to go off. Who are they putting in? And I looked down and I'm like, oh crap.
Angelina would have started had she not played for Brazil.
Right.
So that like tells you everything you need to know about Angelina subbing in. But they didn't score again.
Yeah, but again, a negative. Good teams finish those chances that we had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, whether there's one or several, good teams finish those. We
Yeah.
didn't do that. So there's got to be some work on tightening up that quality in the final third.
I think that's totally fair. And I think they know that, especially based on what the players were saying after in the presser.
Which we can move to.
You gotta attend your first post-match presser too.
I
Have
did.
Fun. At least in person. I think you've been on the video calls.
Yeah, I've been on the
whatever.
video calls. Yeah, I got to go in person, which was pretty exciting. I didn't ask any questions because it's terrifying. But Harvey started out with Maddie Darlene and Sam Meza, and then went to Laura Harvey. But in the Darlene and Meza, they looked pissed off and defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking down to the presser, and they told us who it was going to be. We were all like, oh man, you got that young kid, that rookie that's just visibly upset after the game, and then you throw her into a presser. I mean, I guess that's pro sports, right?
Yeah.
And
it
she
is.
was really composed, and you know, I think both of them just give off an air that they are more seasoned than they are. And I think besides the answers to the questions and things, I think that was something that really stood out to me. It was just, these are professionals. No matter their age, they're professionals. And I think you even texted me after watching it that Sam Meza just really feels like she's taking up a leadership role.
She exudes this like confidence in that kind of role, which is really refreshing to see, because I feel like our midfield has been struggling at times, whether it's because of injuries, of like our key players missing or whatever it is. It just feels like our midfield, we haven't had maybe possibility of what the future was going to look like after Fishlock decides to hang up her cleats. And I see in Meza, I see like this kind of thing that like gets me excited about like long term, if it can work with this club and everything, that I feel like we might be in good hands.
Well, and I think that's kind of the investment and something that Harvey knew when she loaned her to the Dallas USL team last year.
Yeah.
You know, and she said before that every player's journey into the pros is different, and this was the right move for her. And from what I can tell, she's thriving.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still very early on in her career in the NWSL, but I see a lot of promise. I like the way she plays a lot. And I think she fits into the style that Laura Harvey wants out of a player in her. So I don't know. Just it's letting me like breathe a little easier, knowing that Fishlock's you know, she's got injury problems. She's what, 38 years old. Isn't she?
Mm-hmm. One thing I was going to say, this is a personal observation, not related to anything we're talking about, but I forgot about it earlier. Emery Adame's corner kicks are superior.
Yeah.
Lou was taking them before Emery came on. We got a whole lot of nothing out of it. Emery takes them, and they're always dangerous. Anyway, moving on.
What do you have anything else you want to shout out from the player, the Darlene comments or anything?
No, I thought that it was funny they were talking about seeing Marta in the in the tunnel, and this is how it's a little bit being starstruck, and that was before the game.
I mean, I would be too. She's kind of like we've seen her for so long, you know, so I think there's just like, when you've seen somebody like that for so many years, it's kind of just like unreal to see them in real life.
I saw her, I remember when we were playing at Cheney, and I was sitting in the Royal Guard section, and there were a bunch of Brazilian fans that came up to that section to get their flag signed. And she came really close in that lipstick, and I was just like, I don't know whether to be like absolutely enamored with you or terrified.
Yeah.
But Laura's presser was really interesting. She said a couple things that I think, we expected her to say, but she came out and said she thought they deserved more out of the game, and she's not wrong. And what's the difference with this team compared to last year's team? And she said belief. Players buying into the system, players are buying into what we're doing, and it shows.
It's showing in the way that they're playing. The results do need to come at some point, but I'm trying to be realistic about it, and I don't know if Laura's. Based on the presser, she's expecting those results to come this year, and she does think that this team can be really special. It sounds like this year, but at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that these are really young players, and like they're playing this well at this age. Imagine how much better they're going to be next year and the year after that. So as much as I want to be greedy and expect these like crazy good results this year, is that unrealistic?
No, but I think that if they learn how to convert, right? And like Laura said in the post-game presser, like that performance is going to be like that level where everybody had a decent / good game. That's going to be the standard from now on.
Yeah.
And I think that if you play that way against, I would say maybe all but 2, maybe 3 teams in the league, you win those games.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think it's a reality this year that we will be, if they think they can clean those things up, then we can get to a place where, okay, we are good this year, but we're going to be even better next year.
Yeah. I think the only caveat I have with them being in that conversation of possibly being contenders this year would be how healthy is the team going to remain? This is a thing with every team, obviously, but some of the key players that we do rely on, they've not consistently been healthy in the last, recent times at least. So I think that's just something I got to keep. I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I think everyone will be. But I don't know, if they're healthy, they can do some good stuff, some really great stuff, I think, even.
Yeah, she said has an AMC landed on Thursday.
That's late.
G's travel, and I think maybe she had a flare up or something, kept her off the roster.
Yeah.
And Fishlock has a longer term injury. So there's that. And then also when she was talking about why she chose to play Darlene at the left back position, she said that it was either play her or play Shay, who had a facial injury.
Yeah.
Shay came on with one of those clear face masks on, the Sue Bird style.
Was it black? I thought it was a black mask.
Was it black?
I thought it was black.
The press box is far away. I can't remember.
You didn't see Batman on the field? Anyways, Batwoman. Sorry. Does Batwoman have a mask like that? I guess I haven't seen Batwoman, so I don't know.
We should probably watch Batwoman.
I don't.
Is it Batwoman? Or no, I'm thinking Catwoman.
There's Catwoman. Yeah, I don't know.
There's Batgirl.
Okay.
That seems kind of infantilizing that they don't have a Batwoman, but they have a Batgirl.
I'm gonna look it up.
But I think the thing,
there is a Batwoman. Okay, there's a Batwoman.
Okay.
We're good. There is. That would be really creepy. I don't think the Batwoman is. Is
there a Batgirl?
Successful. There's a Batgirl, right? Yeah, there's Batgirl. Okay. Anyways, I'm sure there's some bigger nerds that will fill us in on this later.
I think one other thing I wanted to point out is Laura said she was very pleased with the performance, which she never would have said last year.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's just another level of effort and quality we're seeing this year that we didn't see last year.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about till, the cows come home, but at the same time, we're not getting results. So got to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Agreed. I think that wraps up the match for that. It was a loss. It's not good enough. But it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Cooler Player of the Match.
The Cooler Player of the Match is brought to you by the Doctor's Office, a great little 12-seat bar on Capitol Hill. The owner is a big fan of the rain and is proud to be our first sponsor.
I said everyone's favorite segment, but I know for sure it's Matt's favorite segment.
Shout out, Matt. I've been waiting for this moment for a while. Cooler Player of the Match for this match, Sam Meza.
by all means was like the encompassing of what the cooler player of the match is meant to be. It's too bad it didn't kind of come with a win or at least a point against Orlando, but she deserves her flowers for this match.
Yeah. I was about 80 minutes into the game, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, who stood out to me this match? That maybe it won't be that way on paper, but as a person that's watching the game, I can tell she's made a significant impact, and it was Sam Meza.
Yeah.
So shout out Sam Meza. Congrats.
And thanks once again, to our cooler player of the match sponsor, the Doctor's Office. The Doctor's Office is the best place to grab a drink before or after a rain match. Go try their 7 Seas Negroni, featured on their limited edition cocktail menu. The 7 Seas Negroni is a 7-ingredient summer sipper with a hint of citrus and salt that will save any seafarer from scourges of scurvy.
Of scurvy?
Scurvy, sorry. Of scurvy.
Scourges of scurvy.
Scourges of scurvy. I got my little hook out for that. Or at least it tastes like it. Anyways, it also, that citrus that they use in that's yuzu, I read. Love a yuzu drink. Anyways, go check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink. All right. Other happenings in WOSO while we were gone, some pretty fucked up stuff's going on. I don't know if anyone in this country knows that the fucked up shit's going on.
Scary fucked up shit.
Yeah, so for obvious reasons, there are some players in the league who don't want to go report to their international call-ups, like their team call-ups, because they're afraid that they might not get back into the country. For pretty obvious reasons, I would say.
And very legitimate reasons.
Yes. It's absolutely legit, and it sucks, and it's fucked up, and I don't blame them. It's just it sucks because it's gonna hurt. I mean, it's hurting people actively. I don't want to get into the whole politics of everything and how fucked up everything is going on there, but this is gonna be hurting the development of women's soccer and these international teams not being able to play some of their best players. I don't know what the solution is here.
Well, and the shitty thing is this has if it continues, which by all means with this motherfucker, it probably will, it's going to have a detrimental effect on the NWSL as a whole.
Yeah, why would you come here if you're afraid you're not going to be able to get back to your job while going to report for your national team?
Yeah, or visit your family.
Yeah, like off season, maybe you have a 3-year contract, you go to the off season, you're worried you're not going to be able to come back when the preseason starts.
Or get detained as you're leaving.
Yeah, they'll take your stuff. You might get into like some place that no one can contact you, no access to lawyers, all that stuff. It's not good.
No, it's not. So that was a really terrible development that happened in this international break. Let's go to results.
Boring team got their first win of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Boring team FC, the Thorns.
Who we play next week? Actually Friday, but
yeah. Bella Bigsby got the start for that because Arnold is out with some weird arm injury she got in camp. I will say I watched the highlights of that, and I think Utah isn't as bad as they seem, or at least there's some pieces there that I think they can start getting results, and it shouldn't shock people.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you could do it against anyone, it should be the Thorns, but I think Bella Bigsby did have a pretty good game for them coming back, getting the start. So, good for her. I don't want it to be good for her. I want them to lose every time, but it is what it is.
The Spirit beat Louisville 2-0.
Yeah, no surprise. Things are not looking good in Louisville.
The Angel City Houston game. We were wondering about Houston at the beginning of the season because they made some acquisitions that we thought might be promising. They haven't really showed up to play.
Not really, but I will say that Angel City, I think, is better than most people thought they would be.
For sure.
So I think that's probably more of what it is for me, at least, with this game. I mean, I don't think Houston's as good as I thought they would be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, at least I didn't. Yeah, I thought they would have a lot more chemistry and would look a lot better, but I don't think that's going to happen for them this year. Maybe. Angel City though seems to be on a bit of a tear.
Yep.
With scoring. Wish I knew what that was like.
I know. KC beat San Diego. KC, I don't think they're on Fraud Watch anymore. Actually, I don't know because one of the goals was a penalty.
Exactly. And San Diego,
Yeah. I think the biggest development from this weekend, which is something that I wondered after we beat them, is North Carolina actually bad? Because they lost to Gotham 3-1.
Yeah, I don't think they're good.
Esther balled out, Gotham's,
though. Yeah, Esther's really good. You know I love Esther watching her play, not against us, but one of the goals for Gotham was because Casey Murphy did one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
The awareness is just not there.
No, I think in that play, she ruined her chances for getting the starting role for the national team. I don't know that she actually had the chance to get that starting role based on what other options we're looking at. But I saw that game and I was like, oh God, this is not the answer long term.
If you're comparing, so if you want to see, like, I think, and I've heard from several former U.S. Women's national team players that Phallon Tullis-Joyce is the clear front runner for the job for the U.S. number one. And I think if you look at their performances side by side from this past week.
And I'll say this, Fallon's was like a big game too, and she showed up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But.
Yeah, huge game. But if you look at those two comparatively, and if, you know, the club performance does matter, I mean, yeah, it's I don't know that it really takes her out of the running, that one goal, but it definitely makes you think twice.
Yeah. One thing I also wanted to add on to that match is that Midge Purse returned. Love to see that as well.
Yeah, I think they said it's been like 370 some days or something.
Yeah. Surprised it seems like she came back pretty quickly from that. So hopefully there's no issues with that down the road. But
it's been like
always
a year.
Happy to see Midge. I know. I guess I'm just haunted from what happened with Kristen Press and Macario.
They came back before a year.
Who?
Both of them.
They had issues later. Macario was out for a long time.
Right, but she came back pretty quickly, didn't she?
I thought she had some issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways. Shut up, Midge. Yeah, this was a big development. We're talking about big developments. Chicago won a game.
I know.
I didn't think it was gonna happen.
I was really scared there for a minute for them.
I didn't think they were going to. I will this is now making me think, is Bay the worst team in the league? I mean, it's just, it's clearly Utah, but Bay is putting their name in the hat. That's for sure.
I just want to let everyone know how Coop wrote this in the notes under the Chicago Bay game. It just says, "Are Bay the worst team? Comma, JK, it's Utah."
It is.
Ludmilla was a standout in this game though.
Ludmilla, if they can keep her on the field, I guess I didn't realize that Chicago had Ludmilla. Imagine if they also had Mal Swanson still. Ooh. Chicago would have been cooking, but they don't have that. But Ludmilla seems to be carrying the team on her back right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she might honestly be enough to kind of eke out these results for them, and maybe they won't end up with the wooden spoon like I thought they would.
Alyssa Nair played well too. I was happy that she had this in her back pocket for the other games they're going to lose.
The only Bay goal was a penalty, right? I think it was. Let me double check.
And I love a backflip celebration.
Yeah, it was a penalty for Bay. So.
Oh, that's right. And their player that had recently subbed on took it.
I don't know. I think Chicago. I don't know. I'm questioning everything I said about them, but I really shouldn't because they're not good still.
No, and if it's just that one player, you know, if you can shut them down, you're good. Moving on to the U.S. Women's National Team, had a couple matches, 1-1.
Split the results.
1-1, lost one against Brazil.
Kind of a embarrassing loss, if you ask me. I mean, the team they put out obviously wasn't first choice, and there was a lot of trying things out, but I do kind of miss the days where the standard, no matter who was on the field, was we're going to win this game. And they did not look like they were going to win that game at all.
I mean, to be fair, Brazil played really, really well.
Well, yeah, Brazil's a great team.
Deserved to win that game.
Yeah, Brazil's a great team. I just miss the days of when we were the absolute bullies of the world in soccer. But those days are probably long gone anyways.
Yeah. But like when I texted you on that Saturday, it was the first start for Phallon Tullis-Joyce, and she got the shutout.
Yeah, great stuff. Not surprising. I'm not surprised.
And then they played City in the FA Cup semifinal.
Yeah, Phallon's team that she plays for now, Manchester United. That's a rival match too. So if you haven't seen the saves, the two big saves, they were consecutive against each other in that match. Go watch them. It's pretty unbelievable what she does.
So I wanted to point out, I do follow Manchester United women on TikTok, and the video they put out on the Manchester United women account has 20.5 thousand likes, and most of the comments are from men. Way better than Onana. Let her replace Onana. Promote her to the men's team. Otherwise, Onana will finish Manchester United. In fact, we need her on the men's team. Let her come and replace Onana. Like, these are all the comments.
Yeah. Wasn't there some stat about Onana being like having the most like forced error, whatever they call it in goalkeeping, in the last like year or so? So yeah, maybe she should get promoted up to that team.
I wouldn't consider that a promotion. They're a worse team.
You're right. They are not good. But you might get paid more. That's what I'm going for.
Fair.
We're looking for high checks for these players.
Another thing about these U.S. Women's National Team games, they're talking about, needing somebody in the 6 role. My thing is, I think that Emily Sonnet should be the all-out 6 for the U.S. Women's National Team. And I didn't hear this in any of the podcasts, former players talking. And so I wonder if I'm crazy. But after she was the only person in that last World Cup game we played who was balling out and just going all out, I mean, that did it for me. And then what do you do with the back line? Who else goes in center back? That's where we have to ask. Is it time for Jordan Bug?
It is. It's absolutely time for Jordan Bug. She's ready for it. She's absolutely ready for it. I don't whatever, they didn't call her for this camp, but play Sonnet in her best role, right? Like, why would you not play someone with her experience in her best role and then put in a very talented young player who can be, comfortable in that role and build up minutes in that role? In games like this, I think that would have been a really good time to call up Bug, because I don't know if did Emma not see the goal she scored? she can also score bangers, but she's also just so composed, and everything that she does in her game just screams to me like she's ready for the call up whenever she gets it. I'll have no doubts of her filling in that role, because unfortunately, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, I don't know that Cook is looking like she gets to keep that spot still. She got that call up, but I don't know that she lost the spot, and I'm kind of seeing why. Yeah.
I mean, good for her for getting a second chance. KC is playing well. But she got absolutely annihilated at one point in that game.
We have so much talent too with having players in the NWSL, and just the pool that we have. We're very, very lucky for the U.S. Women's National Team. So I think they need to be experimenting a little bit more there. And I think Bug should absolutely be in the conversation for that.
I agree. Next game is coming up pretty quickly.
It is, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. If we win, it's fortunate. The next game we got is against Portland. It's on this Friday, April 18th, 7 p.m., Lumen Field. It sounds like Prime Video is going to maybe be in town doing some filming and stuff for it, potentially. They've kind of been doing some fan rivalry inquiries and trying to kind of build up stuff for there. So this is me trying to preach to people listening to get as many people to the game as we can. to fill it up as best as we can for a Friday night. That's going to be a little difficult, but we can do better than we did for the last game, I think.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm excited for this Portland match. I think it's honestly, we didn't pick up a lot of knocks. So I think the team should be pretty healthy, minus the players that were on injury. But I think that shorter turnaround might benefit the team, just coming off of the anguish and like this being pissed off that they could have won the game against the best team in the league and they didn't. So I think it might be a good thing that we don't have to wait too long for them to get some sort of revenge.
Do you think Lynn Biendello starts, or would you rather see her off the bench?
I think it depends on her minutes restriction.
I mean, if she only has 45,
if she's still at 45,
60? Yeah, but does she go up to 60 maybe? And then do you start her, or do you try to? Because I feel like she's kind of a player you love bringing off the bench too to finish out a game.
Yeah, and Laura Harvey talked about that with Emery Adames, saying how she's such an impact sub that like that's kind of the role she wants her to take on. What was that?
My dog is Alex. Let her upstairs, and she's showing me a slipper. But my guitar is also on the ground now because I moved some stuff around, and she like brushed the guitar.
It sounded really weird.
Anyways,
I don't know. I think it just depends on.
Yeah, I just here's the thing. I would like to see Lynn with Adames more. I want to see Adames come on sooner.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the lineups have been so interesting, I guess, this last couple games that it might be something completely different. It might be the same kind of setup that we had last game. I mean, I don't see a reason to change what you did last game, like for this game.
Go with young players, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you change the system? What do you change there?
Well, Portland's definitely not Orlando, so they're definitely not preparing for that kind of thing, but it is a rival match.
Yeah, and it's always, these games are always weird. The weirdest stuff happens at these games. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what you do. It depends on players' health. I would almost rather see Lynn go on as a sub, just in case. I don't want to wear her out or, aggravate that injury. If she's feeling it early on, that could be the thing too. It could be the day before the game or the morning of the game where she tells Laura, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But I just want her to be healthy for as long as possible. So whatever that takes, I say that's what she should do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Darlene can do. I would love for her first goal to come against Portland.
Maybe she can be our Portland destroyer.
That would be nice. She's got the ability to do it. So
she can beat either one of those goalkeepers. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I would love to see her. Okay, things I want to see. I want to see Darlene get her first goal, and I want to see it against Portland.
I want to.
I mean, if it's not against Portland, the next game, but
I want to see us score more goals than them. I would like for Darlene to score one of those. I'd like to win.
Let me see. Should have done a little more research on the Thorns. I just know that they're not very exciting. I don't know if you've heard their nickname.
Oh God! And did you see that the Re-Ink show had Olivia Moultrie on, and they were like touting her parents' lawsuit against the league?
I should keep my own personal thoughts in my head, but
no, I was gonna say the large majority of people responding to them putting that out was like terrible.
Yeah, it should be. I think there's been some interesting stances from some of the that era of U.S. Women's National Team players kind of shouting out things that don't make sense, because there was that, and then I saw this is first week of the NWSL season, but Megan Rapinoe had like shouted out the like 14-year-old that came on the field for Gotham, and I was like, this isn't a good thing. Yeah, I'm not really gonna praise a MLM heiress being the one to get. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just not gonna praise an MLM heiress.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of people agree with us. So
there's lots of people who will disagree, and that's
sure.
fine.
But
I do have strong feelings. Yeah, I'd have strong feelings about it and have strong opinions about it, and that's why I'm not gonna say much more than what I just did. Portland has only scored, it looks like, 3 goals this season.
Oh, same as us.
I think we have 4. and then they've only allowed 4. So we're I would say we're a lot more even this year than maybe we are in some years. In terms of standings, at least I don't know. Portland's hasn't been very good for a little bit. It should be a good matchup, I think. I also think it's there for possibly for Reign to really turn it up another level.
Yeah.
And kind of feed off of the energy of the crowd. So if you haven't got tickets yet, please go do that.
Yeah, and we have a chance to pop over them in the standings if we win, because they're at 5 points, we're at 4. So yeah,
let's do it. Fine. We'll wrap it up with I got a shout out that I wanted to shout out. Some wonderful news. I know everyone was on the edge of their seat waiting to figure out if Louis did indeed go on to the final round of my cat Louis. He is, thanks to all of you who voted, he is now a finalist in the cat contest, the cat photo contest.
Yay, Louis.
There's 2 more rounds happening. I think maybe 1 round left. I'm not sure where we're at with that, but there was 4 rounds of voting. He won the second. He's in the top 3 of the second round. And I will keep you all updated when the final round comes around for voting. And I appreciate everyone who it makes me feel like he is indeed the most handsome cat in the world.
I have a shout out. I'd like to shout out Grant from the Into the Channel YouTube show, who graciously helped me not get lost on my way to the press conference area. Cool guy. I actually watched his interview with Susie because he had her on their show a couple weeks before we had Susie on. So shout out Grant. Thank you for being cool.
Cool. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, the Doctor's Office and Hacks and Ferments. You can always go follow us on social media. We're on Bluesky and Instagram at Cooler Guild Pod.
You can send us an email. We love an email. It's at thecoolerguild@gmail.com. You can also visit us on our main website, sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild.
We're also on YouTube these days. If you want to go see our beautiful faces, youtube.com/@thecoolerguild. And if wherever you're listening, please go rate 5 stars. We appreciate it.
Even if you hate us, even if you disagree with us.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have haters, and like we.
I love a 5-star hater though.
Yeah. Because like there's different opinions, you know, and we want to hear it. So like, tell us where we're wrong, and then rate us 5 stars.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's. You got anything else? Is that pretty much it?
That's all it right. For me.
All right, I'm Coop Cooper.
I'm Van Crisp.
Stay cool, y'all. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye. I think it was like a handball, right? Or something. I think it was a handball. Oh, God, not that. Our camera's got some gesture features and I just put my hand up. Anyways,